Hang on, people. Rick, you should laugh. I'm not laughing. I just had a funny thought. All right, let's take a look at this use of force from this fine, outstanding officer handling this future doctor student, kind, pesky taxpayer. Cop shows up. I'm assuming, doesn't say, I think it says this happened in Newborough. I don't know where in Newborough or what state. Let's see. This is not brutality. Yeah, okay, I don't know. So anyway, I'm thinking the call is a guy acting strange, stopping people, assaulted people, did something because the guy's acting strange. So the cop gets out and contacts him.
My guy really bugged you, bro.
Yes. There's only one cop.
Oh shit, I can't record.
I don't know what he's gonna do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the cop stops, gives plenty of room to make the contact, and the suspect moves in on him. That's going to be in his favor. This guy is a primary aggressor. He closed the distance. He walked right up and attacked him. So the arrest is 100% lawful, legal, whatever you want to call it. Good arrest. I don't have a problem with that.
All right, thank you.
Oh, he fucking punched him.
Okay, you're going to notice this guy's hand right here. I think he presses the button, and his automatic door doesn't open. His dog's back there. So he presses the button to let his dog out. Dog doesn't come out. And then he presses it again. So he's trying to open the door. It doesn't.
Oh, yo, what the fuck?
Oh,
this nigga
shit.
Get
Bum, 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 bum. Rin Tin Tin to the rescue. Here he comes. This dog's in the car like, oh, Dad, please let me out. Please let me out. Come on, man. I won't eat for a week. You won't have to take me out. And, man, when he opened that door, it was go time.
that nigga. Get that nigga. Oh.
Oh, shit. What?
Okay. I got a little bit of problem of the rapid punch and the punches after the dog bit him. If a guy hits me in the face, I'm probably just gonna, just immediate reflex. I'm in fight mode. We're fighting. I'm either got you by the throat, I've either hit you and tackled you. It's go time. This cop kind of stepped back and went, okay, I'll let my dog. Is that a good move? Most agencies don't want their cops going hands-on because they get hurt. And you have a dog for things like this so your dog can go in and detain the person. I think a dog is more for finding people when they're hiding in a building, or you track them when they've ran out in the woods, or they're running away from a crime and you let your dog catch them because they're faster. I worked a dog for 20 years in the military. I'm telling you, I think that's a better use for dogs. This was almost like, you hit me, I'm going to let my dog chew on you, and then I'm going to hit you in the head. So it was kind of a punk move a little bit. After he doesn't do anything before,
He fucking punched him.
and then after the dog gets him,
Oh,
then he
yo,
hits
what
him.
the fuck? This nigga punch. Get that nigga. Get that nigga. Oh.
Oh, shit.
bam, one.
What
Oh,
the-
in the back of the head.
Yo, nigga got. Oh, fuck that nigga.
Why ain't he came by himself? He should have brought backup.
This nigga.
So, fighting with a guy when a dog's on him, I'm not sure that's necessary, people. I've had my dog bite plenty of people, and normally they're worried about the dog. I think a more appropriate use of this dog would be let him bite him and say, listen, dude, I'm going to call my dog off, and I'm going to have him come back to me. But if you run or if you don't follow my commands, I'm going to send him back to bite you again. If that was the sole purpose of not going hands-on, if this officer says, well, the reason why I didn't retaliate when he hit me and I didn't try to use force-on-force, hands-on, training and defensive moves that I was taught in the academy, blah, instead of saying, I didn't do it because I had a dog, then why did you do it after the dog was on? And I know I'm going to have the cop lovers here. Well, Rick, as a police officer, he wants the advantage, and once his dog gets him, it's a good distraction, and that's when he should do it. I don't buy that. I think it was kind of a punk move by the cop. I don't know what it is about cops nowadays. They don't want to go the whole time I worked, you put your hands on me, it was go time. We were in the fight, rolling or punching or chasing because you were running. But it was never, you hit me, let me get back, think, let me decide what I'm going to draw, what bat tool I'm going to pull off my bat belt. It was never that way. It was like, dude, you put your hands on me, it's go time. So the fact that this officer didn't immediately go kind of tells me he's a punk. And the fact he hit him after the dog was on him kind of tells me he's a punk. I know I'm gonna have the cop lovers coming here. Why are you always picking on the cops? This isn't a cop thing. This is a government abuse of authority. This cop has a taser, pepper spray, bulletproof vest, gun, backup, radio. It's in daylight. There's one person that he has to fight with. He's acted no way, shape, or form that he thinks this person is armed or has a weapon. And he's refused to go hands-on until after his dog's chewing on one of the guy's arm. And then he hits the guy in the back of the head. I'm sorry. I call that a punk move. If you don't, and you think that's a great, wonderful hero cop, well, then me and you can differ on what a hero cop is.
Fucking take his phone too. I'm about to sell that shit.
All that door.
Oh, I hear more cops.
I know. What the hell?
Yo,
That's crazy.
This nigga bugging.
Now here I see his legs and everything kind of what I call submissive. He's not resisting. I know there's going to be some cop here. Well, Rick, he could have been passive resisting by stiffening his arm or refusing. If his arm was under his belt, you didn't know if it was cleared and you have... I don't see the cop struggling to get his arm out. I see the cop hitting him and kneeling on him. I hear sirens, which means the cop knows he has backup, and he's allowing this dog to continue to chew on him. So I don't really have a big problem that the dog is kind of chewing on him and he's got him on the ground, because it's not reasonable to think the cop should just get up and take his dog off and maybe let the guy gain the advantage. He hasn't got a weapon. I get the justification and the reasoning, and you can argue either way to fit your position. To me, a righteous, straight-up dude, come on, man. I don't get my jollies off by letting my dog chew on people that don't need to be chewed on, and let him chew on them because I'm pissed off because you hit me and I'm too much of a pussy to hit you back and go hands-on. That's just me. You can hate on me. Go ahead.
Yo. Hold on, I'll be back.
Yeah.
So he's got his arm behind his back. He can get a cuff on him. I mean, there's a couple other things he could do. If he doesn't want to let go of this arm and he doesn't think one arm behind the back is secure, I mean, I've hooked a handcuff to a belt. I've ran it under the belt and then hooked it back on the arm to where I've got one arm and two handcuffs. I handcuff one arm, I slide the cuff through the belt, I swing the chain around and handcuff the same arm with the other part of the handcuff. And now I've at least got one arm pinned behind his back. Now I could get his dog off. If he wanted to, he could handcuff one arm and bend this leg up, the opposite leg, bend it back, and if the handcuff fit around the ankle, he could have bent his ankle. I've even put a handcuff in between shoelaces. It's not the greatest, but it stops him from moving. If I can't get it out of his ankle, I'll take the arm of the handcuff and slide it between the shoelaces and hook him that way. And now he's got a leg and an arm tied together and he's got to fight. If he tears his shoelaces out, okay, that's okay. It still will give me time to do something. But I'm just not a big fan of this. I'm not sure if the cop is violating policy, if he's doing it intentionally, or is it incompetent. The guy hit him. Does he deserve to get bit? Yeah, some people say he deserves whatever he gets. Shouldn't be walking up punching people. He's probably punching other people. I mean, if and buts and coconuts. Look, people, I try to be fair to cops, but I also want to hold government accountable. And if you give government an inch, they will always take a mile. And that's what we're seeing now with tyrannical cops. They have been given an inch to shoot a dangerous dog if they're about to be attacked. And now, 5-10 years later, they're shooting two-legged chihuahuas that are dragging their back end, wagging their freaking butt, and they're shooting them saying they were scared of their life. If you give government an inch, they will take a mile, especially government with badges and guns, which means they have the authority to use deadly force. Most other people in government don't have the authority to pull out a gun and shoot you as a course of their job. So you even need much more restrictions on that kind of power. But you don't see it. You see cops being tyrannical, treating people like shit every day.
What's up with this nigga, bro?
Okay, so for people that aren't canine, usually dogs, when we're doing training, we'll have other guys in the same uniform help us and get involved. That way the dog kind of learns to recognize the uniform. He realizes that if they're in uniform, I probably don't have to bite you. That's why if somebody's wearing all black and they run and there's a bunch of cops chasing them, the dog will sometimes bite a cop. Or he will not bite the suspect because he goes by all this color thing. He doesn't know who the bad guy is. That's why most canine policy will say you will not release your dog until you're assured and confident that your dog has the correct target in sight. And when you release your dog, you know your dog is going to hit the right person. But I've seen cops release people in crowds and not care. Luckily, the dog will usually go after the one that's running. But in a crowd, a lot of people run and scatter. And I don't think there's enough restrictions on canine. I mean, they're just using them left and right now to chew on anybody for any reason. They're squirting anybody with pepper spray for any reason. They're shooting them with the taser for anything. And they're shooting people with their real freaking guns, killing them for any reason. I mean, you can't have a stuffed animal of a dog without fear of getting shot, that the officer was in fear of his life and thought it was a real dog, so he killed you and the stuffed animal. I mean, it's just outrageous. But this isn't the worst I've seen, but it's not good in my opinion. Now, you would think with two guys there, he's already got one arm, he could get his dog off. Now, I know the cops out there, well, Rick, it's a rapidly evolving situation. It was tense and the guy still hasn't been searched and the officer's safety is still in jeopardy because he's not secured. You should know that if you were a cop, and until he's secure, he's still a threat. And per officer safety, we had to ensure that he was secure before we get the dog off. I get all the mumbo jumbo justification for bullshit. But, I mean, could the officer say, dude, you got him, I'm going to pull my dog off. If he starts fighting, I'll let the dog back on. Of course he could do that. Would that be reasonable? In my book, yes. Would it be smart? Would it show freaking compassion? Would it show reasonable? Of course it would. Would it increase this officer's credibility? Yes. Would it increase me when I'm evaluating this as a citizen and people are watching this video? Would they think, well, at least the officer did pull him off and they tried to give the guy a chance? And I mean, they got the dog. They can release the dog. It's not that big of a deal. Why wouldn't they do that? You know why they wouldn't? Because they don't have to. Government doesn't do anything it doesn't have to.
Oh, damn, I can't record. Checking the phone too much.
Aw, shit. The coat of the ball just showed up. I'm surprised the dog didn't let loose and start running and yiping as soon as this guy showed up. Rick, you can't say, oh, I had to go. I ain't picked on a bald guy in a while. Dog's like, dude, you guys are taking off. Get away. I got this handled. Dog's like, why's all you guys in here trying to mess with me? I'm trying to do my job. Just like the government and shit. Takes 4 people to do one guy's job. Dog ain't even got a pension. He don't even get sick days. Days off. Nothing. Okay, 3 guys there. That dog should have been off. No excuse for having 2 extra guys there and the dog's not off. He does get him off, and he does it, I'll say, in a reasonable amount of time. Why do I say reasonable? Because it's not necessarily long and unreasonable. And I'm sure if somebody called the officer on why it took so long to get your dog off, here's the standard thing. Due to the excitement and the resistive actions of the dog, and once the dog had blood in his mouth and he'd fought with this guy for so long, he was very excited. And because the officers were yelling, stop resisting, my dog couldn't hear me. So between the dog not hearing me and being excited and the suspect's resistance, it took me a longer time to get the dog released. It's not me. It's not my partners. It's the dog. Because he's the only one here that can't get a letter reprimand in his file or get days on the beach. So let's blame the dog. Another reason I don't like the cop is he didn't even tell his dog good boy. He rips him off, throws him back in the car, and shuts the door. So that's even more, in my book, the canine cop's a punk. Damn dog just saved your ass because you couldn't fight him and you lock him back in the car acting like tough guy. Now you're going to go back and yell at the guy. Be a tough guy. Now you're a tough guy. Ooh, look at the way he's walking. Rick, tough guys walk like that. Arms out, swaggering, sticking his chest out, buffing up, bowing up. Ooh, he's a tough guy, everybody. Ooh. Man, he even opened a door kind of tough. Man, I'm scared of that dude. He looks kind of tough. Tough after his dog takes care of business and he gets 2 other officers there. All right. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm not a super fan of this call. I don't think it's egregious, outrageous as I've seen other things. But again, when you let government get away with little things, they're going to get away with big things. We'll end that there. Argue it out in comments.